What's up, dudes? Welcome in. Hello. 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 Welcome in, mofos. Hello, Quillfish. It's quiet. It's echoey in here. We're back today to talk about, you guessed it, Pandrew. Give me a one if you can hear me in chat, please. All one of you. Give me a two. Give me a two, number one. Good to see you, Guido. Good to see you, brother. Give me a two, Guido. Give me a two and a one. Give me a 3-2-1. Give me a 1-2-3. What's up? Oh shit. Hey, sweet tea. Good to see you. Good to see you. Give me a two and give me a one. Give me a 1-2. Sweet sativa, yo. We're back today to have a few laughs. Fuck, I had Pandrew in my mind again. I don't know why. I couldn't figure it. I know why. Because Tammy was leaving comments under my videos. And it brought me into, plugging Andrew's name into Grok. Okay. So I'm fooling around with AI up on X and I'm putting Andrew Hilts' name in here. And I'm like, he's fairly well renowned. Like Grok does a good job in pulling up all kinds of details. And I started like following up because it also attaches it cites all of the web postings, whether it be videos, articles, or the like. And it took me down a rabbit hole that made me LOL. And I thought I'd share a little bit of it with you here today because I'm pretty sure that nobody's really probably delved into it in a few years. And it's worth it. It was really fun. It made me laugh out loud a few times. Now, I never met this girl before, but she's pretty good. I'll share a link with you in my side chat if you're watching in the future and you're looking for it. Good to see you, Susan. Oh shit. She had all kinds, and it was funny. I'm like, why would Grok pull from this video? And it gives you a bit of an avenue to look down. Because Grok has it in its mind, in its artificial mind. It alludes to this multiple times. It's lying or Pandrew's lying. It's got to be one of the two. Now, it could be either or, and I can't figure out which one is lying. Andrew has a history of lying, and of course, when it comes to information, it's a bit convoluted to begin with. It's a bit gray. But this, I don't know, because I've caught AI a few times, and it really bases its answer specifically around the deep meaning of your question. And it overanalyzes the question. You may have wanted to rephrase it, I think. And I wanted to know, I told it just to tell me everything, investigate Andrew Hilts. I'm not sure what I put up there. I'll have to go look. Something like that. I have to put it up. Hold on. So I'm skeptical. But it tells, according to Grok, and I've seen it over several times, or several different searches, where AI thinks that Andrew Hilts was at 110 Ben Hill Road, like up on the hill, just previous to Summer Wells going missing. And Andrew's denied ever being up on that hill. And I'm like, well, why does Grok think he was up on the hill? Because it has everything to do with Jose Roman. And the more I started investigating into it, the more I realized that, oh shit, Andrew, you probably are a suspect in all of this. And this gal and her videos that she made, she did a really good job on it. They're a few years old, but they're just as relevant today, and especially when it comes to, believe it or not, Pandrew. Did he Did he admit to being on the hill once? Well, see, we'd have to re-ask him, see what his updated answer is to that. But he's got such a camouflaged background, and everything that he brings to the internet is always, we'll call it engineered. Let's call it engineered. That's a nice term for it. So there's really legitimate cause for concern. Not that I think that Andrew has any direct link to the disappearance himself, but the extended story and his history. He admits to trafficking, flesh, drugs, participant, active, proud. Like, people have a right to be skeptical about Andrew, and you'll see why in a second. I got to show you these clips. So this Jose Roman situation, I have a hard time believing Andrew. Well, how should I say that? I don't allow Andrew's answers to confuse or cloud my suspicions, because Andrew never answers anything. And that in itself is suspicious. He talks around these scenarios and these situations through denial, when in fact, there's a reason people have this in their heads. And he's never really wanted to talk directly about Jose, especially, directly talk about him, especially his history, because I find it very hard to believe that another cross-dressing transvestite who allegedly sells themselves over the internet like Andrew did. Maybe Andrew was helping them get back off the streets. I don't know. But he had a bunch of deeper problems, and he has a link to prison and a family business of trafficking, in essence, fentanyl and car batteries. Ali took his truck's flat tire to Andy Bernard, you've heard. Well, that's a new one. That's really interesting. That's really fucking interesting. Hey, Bird, good to see you. Now, I want to make sure let me emphasize this. Andrew is lying to all of us. He's lying by omission in that sense. And I'm not angry at him. I think he's one of the funniest dudes I've ever watched. And it's strange. What is it I find enjoyable about watching Pandrew? It's the fact that he's putting on this presentation to begin with. You would think that it's just a person who doesn't know what the hell he's doing, trying to get money the easy way. Well, it's YouTube. But I think there was a lot more to it in that sense. When you're under the gun in that sense, Andrew being right there to throw shade might be a good move. I could see that. Let me pull this up for you. Andrew admitted Jose was Jeffy's friend, and he really didn't know Jose, and he admitted to that also. Yeah, well, Andrew blames everything on everybody else. We're every time we get an answer from Andrew, we're thinking that it's coming from a reliable source, and we consider it and accept it. You're going to accept it nonetheless because it's his answer, but don't let that form your opinion necessarily. He never adds any context. But I've grown fond of that little son of a bitch. It makes me laugh. From a YouTube character standpoint, let me read this to you. Just a second. You want some iced tea? Well, we got some lemon iced tea. It's such a beautiful day out today, too. Hold on, people. Oh, what is that? Nimbu Pani. Lemon lime iced tea. Oh, all my South Asian friends just love that stuff. Indu Pani. Let me see here. You just ask Rex that. Get enough car batteries linked together. That's true. That's kind of what Rex does every day. Now, hold on. We won't be talking about him. Let me see here. Let me get back to it. To read you these comments. So, Tammy, I want to read you these first. Andrew, you're the one who brought Jeffy into this. I noticed that Stephanie deleted her comments under here. Okay. Out of the fridge, please. Thank you. All right. LMAO, Jeff was paying his half for his Wi-Fi and he was using Wi-Fi he was using. How do you think Jeff was getting back and forth to work? Stephanie, you cracked me up. Yeah, she must have deleted her statements under there, her comments. You're not mad at Andrew. This is Tammy Borden. He attacked Mama Bear and I spoke out simple. This shit is cracking me up. So she loves all this talk. She loves the attention in that sense. She's a character. So Grok. What did I ask Grok? Who is Andrew Hilts from the Summer Wells case? That's the wording I phrased. So Andrew Hilts is associated with the Summer Wells case as the father of Hunter, a teenager who was a friend of Summer's mother, Candus Bly. Summer Wells, a 5-year-old girl, disappeared from her home in Rogersville, Tennessee on June 15th, 2021, prompting an ongoing investigation and an active Amber Alert. Hilts is not a central figure in the case, but has been mentioned in various online discussions and YouTube videos speculating about the circumstances of Summer's disappearance. Now, according to sources, Hilts visited the Wells family home on Ben Hill Road with an acquaintance named Jose Roman at some point before Summer went missing. So that statement stood out to me. Why did it come up with that? At the time, Summer's father, Don Wells, was working in Utah and had been away for several months. Another individual, Allie Harris, was also staying at the home, but left after a disagreement with Candus, leaving Jose. That was, remember the fight over Jose? And then of all the things for Candus to say on Chris McDonough's interview was Jose telling Candus that he liked chicks with dicks. He liked trannies. He liked the trannies. Well, I like the trannies. These details have fueled speculation in online communities, with some suggesting Hilts and others connected to the household could have ties to suspicious activities. However, there's no concrete evidence in the provided information linking Andrew directly to Summer's disappearance. Much of the discussion around him appears to stem from YouTube videos and social media posts that are speculative in nature. So I'm like, let's see these posts. And that's what brought me to this gal's these videos. I'm like, you're telling me Grok summarized these videos? So I'm like, let me watch these damn things. This fucking Grok. This is going to be dangerous. Thank God I privated all of these videos. Let me see. Let me change this up here. Hold on. So is it the first one? Well, we'll play these first too. I'll play this one the first. It's called Andrew Hilts. Are you involved in Summer Wells' disappearance? And this is a 3-year-old video. But tell me, this is, I give it 2 thumbs up.
His name is Andrew Hilts. He is 34 years old. He is Hunter's dad, Allie's ex-boyfriend or husband, or I'm not sure how far that went, but I wanted to go over some of the things that I've been seeing in the lives. I've been in plenty of chats, and he's actually been in there. There's a channel called Missing But Not Forgotten. Trish, who is, the channel, it's her channel. He was in her chat the other day, and she was actually asking him questions. And so these are some of the things that he talked about. I was also on another live, and he
So I love the fact that this gal has taken notes. That this is how you know. This is so entertaining. Her notes are so entertaining to me. I had like some hardcore belly laughs. I, these journals are perfect, whether you're at work or monitoring a case. It's a great research tool. Just jotting down notes day by day so they don't slip your mind. I'm not sure. I'll share the link in a few minutes. I don't think so. Not by the sound of her voice. She sounds like she's from New York. She's a Bills fan. She's got a Bills toque on. Let me see here.
he was in the chat there as well. So this is from that. Okay, so Andrew has many lies surrounding the stuff he says. For instance, I saw him in a chat room. He was saying that Hunter never talked to him ever about summer, ever. Never had nothing about that day, which I don't believe that at all. Of course, you're going to ask your son, if you were there, if that just started it all off wrong for me. But he also said that then he said that Hunter loves Summer like a little sister, but they never talked about her. And he said that Hunter and him only ever talk about teenage stuff, ever. He also stated that he was never claimed to be a good father. But some of the things that really bothered me was, for instance, and then I'm also going to go over some of the things that he's been arrested for. He's had multiple arrests. Actually, I'll go over that now. And when he was 17 or 18, he said that he was arrested for a burglary and assault charge. He said that the mother of his child at the time, I don't know if it was Hunter or not. I believe it was a different child.
No, I didn't.
She was supposedly pregnant, and someone threatened to stab her in the stomach. So he said that he went to that person's house, broke in, and his words, beat the shit out of him. He didn't know why he did it, but he had been drinking. So Andrew has is himself. He said he had a trouble with alcohol and drugs and stuff like that, which I've had my own issues with taking pills, so I'm not judging that. What I am judging is the stuff he said after that, which was this. His words. He said that he was on a live with some guy named Doug, and Doug was talking to him and asking him questions. He said,
so these notes are from something that you just can't get anymore. Very rare interview with Andrew and Doug Hutton. We haven't heard Doug in such a long time. He's up on TikTok in the sober community. He's shaking them down right now, spreading disinformation up there like crazy. But she's taking notes from Doug Hutton's interview of Andrew Hilts. I thought that was fantastic. Oh my God, wait till you hear this. It's not just me saying it. If it's me saying it, you've heard me talk about Andrew so much. It's just words to you at this point. Well, especially when I hear it, but when you hear it come from a person who doesn't know doesn't know what it is that they're watching in a sense. Oh, it's like, man, can you believe it? Now, classic. Doug's made his way up into AI in the sense. Now, hold on. Where the hell is this? Got too many things open.
Well, Doug had offered him $300 to come up on the panel and do an interview. And he said, I'm worth way more than $300. I used to be a hoe, bitch.
Oh my God. I'm worth way more than $300. I used to be a hoe, bitch. Oh my God. Where is that clip? Where is that clip? See, I'm sure at some point or somewhere around, but you just can't search that shit. Oh my God. Oh my God. That's so good. Andrew, do you remember that, friend? Do you remember that? Doug Hutton offers Andrew $300. You remember when Doug likes to flex all of his money that he makes over there on his channel from his subscribers? Oh, I'm going to offer you all kinds of money to come up and talk here. Very special interview. I paid $300 for it. It's very expensive. Could you imagine? And Andrew, we probably watched that. Andrew did say that. Man, that's fantastic.
He said, well, Doug had offered him $300 to come up on the panel and do an interview. And he said, I'm worth way more than $300. I used to be a hoe, bitch. Just like that. Then he said, I don't have 300 bodies under my belt for no reason. And we're all like, wait, what's that mean? So he has a tattoo somewhere on his body, I believe up in here. And he said that 300 stood for the amount of men and women that he has slept with, that he's very proud of that.
So Andrew has a 300 tattoo around his neck area that's there as a body count because he's so proud of how many happy customers he's had being and slinging sex, his own body. He's selling himself. Oh my God. Can you believe that? I want to see this. I want to see your 300 tattoo, Pandrew. Is this in fact true? You have a tattoo and that's what it's for? I'm expecting response during a video of yours.
And he said he was bisexual and that from 2014 to 2019, he was a sex worker. Okay. And he said he's very sexually active, has been since he was 13, and he's a hoe, an expensive one too. So don't insult him with the offer of $300 to do an interview. He could get way more money than that. So I thought that was kind of weird. You know what I mean? And then with the whole theory that Summer may have been, sold into trafficking or, either sexual or organ, whatever. I'm not really sure. But he did say that he was talking about like all his like sexual experiences, which I thought was super inappropriate.
Yeah, him talking about all of his sexual experiences. Andrew, you should do more lives on all of these sexual experiences you had, the ones that you told Doug all about.
You know what I mean? He also, Candus had I'm going to call it side piece. Okay. His name is Jose. Andy said that he is very good friends with Jose and that he is going to defend him till the end. He also said that Jose is unaware of this case completely. He knows nothing about Summer going missing, nothing like that, which I find that very weird. He is definitely, a suspect in this case. So I don't know how he doesn't know about it. But Andy said that he is going to 100% defend him because he is innocent. He also said he started his YouTube channel because he was sick of people saying that Hunter was involved with Summer. I think Hunter's involved in different ways. I think that Candus.
Now she goes on and she's going to make a great point the same one that we talk about, and what we found suspicious about it is that Andrew never really likes to focus on the obvious here and what's wrong with this whole scenario with Hunter. And it has to be out of fear for implicating. Well, listen, it's what you don't say sometimes. And Andrew not coming out and really talking about the inappropriateness has been a mistake that he's made, in my opinion. Probably because he's still, or maybe because he's still friends with everybody. I shouldn't say probably. It makes me think, I think a certain way. I shouldn't do that. Planting thoughts in your heads. No, it's just, I'm not saying that my opinion is correct. It's not where I'm going. It's just more of like a brainstorming session because the whole scenario is not right. And this whole trip down and their affiliations or associations, if you will, with the Wells through Allison would be the relationship that Hunter has with Candus. Okay. That's why you're a suspect, Andrew. That's why you're a suspect, Pandrew. There's a missing child and there's a stranger couch surfing. His name was Jose Roman, and you're associated to Jose Roman as well as Hunter's association to Summer and Candus, intimate relationship. You're a lot closer to this scenario than you think. You may not be cognizant of it. You may not be fully aware of it, or maybe you are. You have a pretty good idea because look at what you've been doing from 2014 to 2019. You've been given $300, sessions. You've been collecting all those bodies, your body count. AKA sex trafficking. So we've got drug trafficking, sex trafficking. Why is everybody involved with this family seem to be acting so funny?
Summer's mom had a little fling or an inappropriate relationship with Hunter. There are plenty of text messages going back and forth from them, that kind of insinuated that's what was going on. He was coming over and he was text wise. He was at the Wells house that day. Summer supposedly went missing.
Yeah, this girl's on the right track. I like this gal. Hold on, let me answer this question. Munch knew Alyssa. Why is it you guys can't fucking spell? Just wondering. So this Stephanie only talks to you. She talks to me through email, but she's got this thing where you have to spell her name correctly in order for her to answer you in chat. And when you realize how she spells her name, it's like, who the fuck named you? Who named you? Obviously couldn't spell Stephanie. Nobody spells their name like that. Nobody. But anyway, I'm not making fun of it. It's just, how dare you? How dare you put that on other people, Stephanie? Now, I love her nonetheless. She's funny. Let me go. She's Alicia's friend. But I couldn't fucking believe it. And I thought that tells a lot about the individual. Psychologically, I mean. Just because you're subconsciously pissed off about your names being spelt that way doesn't make it so that you have to put that on other people. They don't have to change the way that they treat you based upon that or how you interact with the public. Anyway, maybe there's more to it I'm not seeing. Let me see. It probably is. So Munch knew Alicia for 11 years and didn't know about Hunter until 2022. That's weird AF. Not really. If you look at it, I think if you really wanted to, this was another discussion. If you wanted to zoom out on Alicia's and Andrew's relationship, it would probably make you puke. It would make you retch. I would have to think that Munch has been a fuck friend of Alicia for quite some time and kept it on the DL. Notice how Munch is always coming around wanting to hang out with Alicia? Why don't you hang around Andrew like that? Why do you treat Andrew like a second-class citizen every time Munch comes around? That would have to be because of the lovin'. That's what I'm thinking. So this whole relationship, and even the things that Andrew says, think about the things that Andrew is saying that she's talking about up here. And there's Alicia says that she doesn't care about any of it. Probably because she doesn't give a shit about Andrew, right? Maybe she doesn't have any feelings. I don't know. She probably does give a shit about it, but she's had to numb herself and build up like a wall that has a big sign that says, I don't fucking care on it. Like the door to your bedroom that you can slam. I don't know. I'm imagining things, but I'm thinking we get to see a fair bit of how they are. First of all, why would you want to broadcast your parenting skills or your parenting in general to a bunch of strangers on the internet? I never quite figured that one out. It's a form of narcissism. It has to be. And Andrew's not really lacking in the self-confidence arena, is he? I'm trying to figure that dude out, but it's like a train wreck you can't turn away from. The odd time he's got a point, but I'm being hard on him. Probably because I've grown to like watching him in some aspects. It makes me laugh. It entertains me. But what is normal to begin with? Whatever the other person's willing to tolerate, I guess. I don't, when it comes to what's normal in regards to healthy marriage, would you say? I'd say healthy marriage. Anybody can go and get married in that sense. Many people do, and most fail. That's because of the type of society in which we've built. In my opinion. Let me see him. What was Bird saying? Pandrew still hasn't put doors on the bedrooms. I guess he is too busy looking for the next panda to victimize, in your opinion. He doesn't have doors on any of his bedrooms. How do you know this? That's weird. Oh, dude, I know. So put that in context with I remember when he was doing that shit too. I was thinking he's going to fucking regret doing this, you know. Why would you come in front of a bunch of strangers and be braggadocious about how great of a bisexual sex worker you think you are? We can all clearly see that you aren't exactly the upper echelon of escorts. You're ragged, you're beaten down. Come on. You look like you're 50. You got no teeth. But in that arena, that's actually a perk. He had them removed. Oh, shit. Actually, that's a philosophical question, isn't it, Sweet? Do you say knowing right from wrong and choosing to do what's right, that's normal? We hope, we try to brainwash and condition our kids into doing that, but I'm not sure that's actually human nature. Human nature and normal might be two different things in that sense. I'm not trying to bring hate against a person who had to sell their body to make ends meet, but something tells me that Andrew embraced that sort of lifestyle, which is probably what you want, right? It probably would equate to a more satisfied customer. What sort of customers? I want to see his black book like the Epstein list. I want to see Pandrew's 300 name black book. Especially in Gloversville, dude. It's a town of like 12,000 people. 300 is a fairly significant percentage of your what your target your customer base. Oh shit. Excuse me. All the doors have cautions. All the doors have cautions instead of doors. What are cautions? Like half doors? Like in the Western saloons? The doors that hang there and you have to push them through that fold back in the middle? Isn't that a caution? I've never heard called like that before. Howdy, partner. We saw him stream it and he hasn't fixed it from the last time we saw her. You mean caution tape? Caution tape. Do not enter. Allegedly, they have a friend that works CPS. What do you mean, A1? Oh, curtains, not cautions. They have curtains in the doorways? Not good enough. You can't lock a curtain, pal. You can't secure a curtain away. Sliding curtain on the bus. So let's see. Those doors have been missing since I made him beg for his YouTube channel. What happened? You have to remind me of that one. Yeah, I'm probably listening and watching too much Dark. Oh, do you know what I did the other day? On a side note, well, the other day I've been on one. That Letitia, I watched all 10 hours of the Letitia Staunch case. Holy frick, man! How about you guys? Did you guys get a load of that case? Let me know in chat. I can't believe how fucking guilty she was. But thank God that Gannon's dad wasn't putting up with their bullshit from the get-go. See, you wouldn't have known that rightfully through the media at the time. But listening to all of the phone calls, listening to all of those phone calls between Letitia and Gannon, tell all these fucking stories was a lot like listening to Rex Fredrickson. Atop of this little boy missing, trying to insinuate that she had something to do with it. Right to the end, she told multiple different stories. Oh, but anyway. Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's right, too. That's right, too. Yo, where's Razbin? So we made him begging for it back. That's right, too. I remember that, actually. You and Ghost and Raz. I do remember that. I think I have a video on that somewhere. Oh, did you? Yeah, that channel is pretty good. They've got I got into the Lori Daybell case after that. What a fucking nutcase they are. Oh, the whole everybody involved in that case is so annoying. It was very difficult to watch, personally speaking. For you, it might be different. You might just soak it up and love it. But I'm like, it's very difficult to listen to. Aside from the charges, the people involved, I like more of a trailer park level class. The Sarah Boone case, yeah, I followed that too. Listen, that's nuts. First of all, what do you think was going to happen? You're going to be able to talk yourself out of this? People get nuts when they insist that they're innocent of things. They're fairly easily convinced, especially when you're convincing yourself. Hold on. Let's back to Pandrew. Back to Pandrew for a moment.
Or an inappropriate relationship with Hunter. There are plenty of text messages going back and forth from them. You know, that kind of insinuated that's what was going on. You know, he was coming over and he was text wise. He was at the Wells house that day. Summer supposedly went missing. So I just don't understand why you would have a 15-year-old boy, in your text messages like that. It's kind of, if you didn't know his age, you would think that they had a relationship or something, by the things that they were saying to each other. I so wish that I could edit that in right now, but if you want to, in your own opinion, go look at Andrew Hilts, Hilts, his channel, and you tell me the vibe that you get from that. I could be completely wrong, but my vibe is telling me that something's not right with this dude, and that
This woman's really hitting the nail on the head.
there's a great chance that he is involved in some type of human trafficking. He
Yeah, absolutely.
Was
absolutely. They bring in all of the factors that would increase Summerwell's risk factor in that sense into the story. And then they turn around and when they do what you expect. They deny. No, I don't know anything about it. No. Yeah, of course. They admit to a certain element of trafficking and factors that would indeed raise the risk factor for Summer Wells in that home environment. And Candus did the opposite of protecting her children up there, of course. She invited all of this nonsense in. She fostered it. I think that's accurate. That's accurate to say. And we don't know the half of it.
It said that he was basically, trafficked in the sense he's out there just banging everybody. So that his words, banging everybody. And also he said that there was a picture. He was asked about the pictures that he was in, and it was like him with which appeared to be a little girl and a boy. And he said, first of all, that picture was him with his son, and the little boy was actually, or the little girl was actually a little boy. And it was his girlfriend's son who was upset in the picture because he's a mama's boy, and he didn't like that his mom had a boyfriend. And when Andy and this woman had gotten together, I guess she went out, got a full-time job, and had been at home all those years prior, and that her son didn't like that. So to make him feel better when she was at work, he would take pictures to try and cheer him up. The little boy was standing like this in the picture. And a lot of the children that I see in these human trafficking pictures, they all stand the same way. They always have their hands crossed over like this. Mostly the girls. I've seen a couple of boys do it, but I think it's more of something that they do with the girls. I don't know if it's a submissive thing or what that is all about, but it's definitely there. And the little boy is looking down like this, looks very, very upset. It didn't make sense to me. There's really no way you can justify that picture, in my opinion. Something is off with that. Okay. So I don't know. It's just so creepy. Like, I swear to God. And then Andy said that he set Jose, Candus's side piece, he set him up with his ex-girlfriend, Allie.
I'm so thankful. I'm so thankful that this gal took notes from the interview from streams that are no longer available, because that narrative is long since passed. And Andrew, I've seen Andrew adamantly deny that. When in fact, well, I wonder what this gal is talking about then. Listen, Andrew. Reckoning says, I saw a clip today from an old live of Tiffany where, she says a year ago that Andrew was on a panel and she was at Candus and Dawn's, and he didn't meet Summer, but he saw her running through the yard. That would suggest that they're familiar with that particular area on an intimate level, and they probably have connections of a drug friendship. You think that they would all be doing a little bit better, like financially, than they are if they were, but not if they're indulging on a local country line level and they're getting high on their own supply, which I think is probably what's happened. Yeah, your pain's getting better, Quillfish. Get out in that sun and get some vitamin D. You'll be demanding some answers. You stay on them. Making all this money, cutting you up. The least they could do is treat you nicely. He said on Mama Bear's panel that the motel was nasty. I thought they didn't stay at one. Yeah, that's right. That's right, Reckoning. He plays multiple different cards. So when you change your story once, like let's go all the way back to the beginning of the case. Let's go all the way back to the beginning of the case and the things that he came out and claimed right away. He's changed 180 degrees since then, but he's never really acknowledged all the conflicts and contradictions. So were you lying then and now you're just telling the truth? Have you always been lying? Why are you lying? Why do you continue to lie? There being a financial benefit to being and making content on YouTube isn't the end for him in this sense. Yeah, you heard they got thrown out of the motel room because they were being too loud, Raymond? I'll ask him about that. Yeah, so this hotel that they stayed at down in Kingsport, I thought you couldn't find a hotel. Remember NASCAR was in town during COVID at Bristol? You had to turn around and go back. It depends. You've changed it. Your story isn't the same every time. It's quite different. Why? Is it because he's not used to telling the truth or conveying a story properly? Look, we still can't even figure out why the hell they went down there in the first place. Was it many different reasons? Like, it takes a lot. It's not just a spur of the moment decision to up and move 2-3 states away from New York to Tennessee. I don't feel that story is as true as they would like us to believe it is. You got your kids, all of your kids. You're all living with Jeffy. You think that you would have planned a little bit more, like you would let the deal finalize before you even picked up a box to fucking pack, considering how lazy you fucking guys are to begin with? Do you know what I'm saying? You guys are so fucking lazy. You want it to portray it like you're just chomping at the bit to move down there because it's just a fantastic idea. The 401k's in the pocket. No. Guy was getting transferred from one Walmart to another. But yet you don't want to tell us the reasons why. Where was this house? Oh, you can't produce it. That's because it probably didn't fucking exist to begin with. You guys are so street smart. You just all decided to throw a bunch of money at a Penske truck and rented it. All went down in a convoy only to turn around and go straight back. How many car batteries did you have with you guys? You had Jose Roman one way. He's a key suspect in all of this. And so is Pandrew, like it or not. I don't think that story is ever going to sound right in that sense. And the fact is, it's not just the story. You can mull over the story all you want. The fact that he has told the story different ways with different key points early on. And here's an example of what it is on your screen, what we're muddling over in our minds here today. And as funny as it is for Andrew to come out and claim that he's this high-priced hooker and she's got notes on it, well, why is he so sensitive? Why don't you want to talk about that at this point in time? You should be talking about things that you know, your experiences in hooking. That would be worth watching. But Andrew and his family want to pretend that they're like America's next happy family. What the fuck are you doing? The hotels he posted, one was in Gatlinburg and one was in Nashville. Where did I leave off there? He also stated on MB's panel that he was involved in the case before it hit YouTube. Yeah, when it first came out, he was leading on, especially that now here's the biggest thing, that he's the one who introduced Jose to Allison. He set them up. And by all accounts, that's factual because other people outside of Andrew have alluded to the same thing. Now Andrew has backtracked and completely denies that's even remotely possibly true. That's suspicious. That's suspicious to me. I'm more inclined to believe that you were promising Jose to set up with Allison the whole way down there because you guys just lived that sort of gross lifestyle or liberal lifestyle in that sense, sexually. And it was incentivizing for him to go down there and probably help hook you up in his family's trade. Andrew's been on everybody's panel early on because of the things that he claimed early on. He does lie. He does lie. He does lie. This is true. Like it's same with him wanting these tits. I'm not even trying to embarrass him or make him look bad. I've backed away from making fun of him because it's just another thing for him to look like he's being victimized with. That's probably what he was trying to do, is bait people in. But it was still funny as shit. The fact that he would go to the lengths as to get in front of the camera and admit to everybody that he's transitioning and he will be getting like, huge double D titties, but it has nothing to do with anything sexual. It's just he feels more comfortable that way. It's enough to make you spit your drink out. Get the hell out of here. The last thing you need is a big pair of titties. You're going to sit around the house and have people play with your titties all day, and you're going to try to charge them money for it, bro. Can you believe that? That's what he wants it for, I'm sure. But I don't know whatever happened to that. And he was going through a hard time. And Munch was there consoling him. Munch, why don't you get back up on Mama Bear's panel and talk all about the days where Andrew thought that he needed a pair of double D's. Oh shit! I think the point of it all was to garner some donations, and he was fishing for people out there. Oh my god! Oh my god, Andrew! So you guys have pictures of the hotel he stayed at? What about Andrew denying that they just turned around and went back? Where's this? What was all went into storage? And why would you put shit into storage if you weren't fucking moving down there to begin with, asshole? So why would you get a storage? Why would you get storage? Why would you need to get storage if your house fell through? All right, I don't believe this fucking story. I don't believe this fucking story one bit. I believe that there was drug trafficking involved, and I also believe that we're probably not going to know because we don't expect you to tell the truth. It's not like we're going to expect you to admit to all of this publicly when you put so much effort into, deflecting and jaw-jacking and backtracking. But I'm telling you, it's disappointing to listen to Andrew and understand that he's just fucking lying in that sense. And I think that goes along with the reason why he's online so much is because it normalizes people into humanizing him a little bit more, which doesn't make it so outrageous for people to recognize, lessens the damage. It's a dampener, a social dampener. That's right. That's right, Reckoning. Everybody was locked down at that point in time. The hotels he posted was the one in Gatlinburg and the one in Nashville. House. Was it a house, a trailer, an apartment? Usually you sign papers and there's there's a transaction involved before you can get handed the keys. Where the fuck did they source this house from? Like Facebook Marketplace? I'm going to go sell somebody else. We should do that. Sell Andrew's fucking house for him. The house that he rents. House for sale. Fixer upper. Tyler Hicks? Who's this Tyler Hicks? What about Chase and his association to the case? Or not Chase, 423. Yeah, 423 Chase. That fucking idiot. Hey, Pam. Oh, he doesn't want to be anywhere around when you're starting to talk about his proclivities for wearing dresses and wigs and fingering himself and getting titties and all of this shit, him bragging about all the, it's very difficult to get in front of that camera and look people in the face after you've just admitted to sucking like 300 cocks professionally. Just get some on OnlyFans, bro. I'll tell you, Pam, she's just another creator in a second. I'll share the link in a little bit. I think he's so dumb that he would jump in a truck and drag his kids to a stranger's house and party. I don't think that they probably ever changed their lifestyles very much. They just try to affix the children and suit them to their lifestyle and keep maintaining some sort of debaucherous living. Because they all seem to be having sex with one another. They're all fucking one another. They're all bisexual. Each and every one of the people are all bisexual. They all love to abuse drugs and have sex. We got grandmas We got moms and daughters sharing beds with weirdos. It's a fucking crazy situation up there at the 110 Ben Hill Road. And Hunter's involved in all of that. Hunter is immersed in that sort of lifestyle. Hunter's dad is Andrew. Hunter's dad is bragging about the amount of penises he sucked. How do you think Hunter's friends are going to treat him when they turn on their YouTube and they talk all about Andrew Hilts sucking dick? That's probably what he's embarrassed about, I would expect. Because he's trying to be some sort of father, and he's changed. He wants to lead and brainwash you all into thinking that he's a better dad. Because look at the progression he's made from 4 years ago to now, and he blasts everything. He puts everything online in that sense, like too much. It's stuff you don't want to watch. Why don't you go do something, dude? We want to watch the things that you do, not the time that you're sitting in your chair. But I guess we should all take heed to that a little bit. Andrew used to get drunk and high, slip shit out, then delete or private it. Yeah, absolutely. I miss those days. His mods would have to get up in the middle of the night and drag him offline. Yeah. I wish those days were back again. That was true. Yeah, there's no possible way you're ever going to convince me of this fucking trip being nothing more. It's like nobody's really saying or accusing him of what it is, but he's denying it anyway. So you already know that there's something more to it. He's just, if there's any questions coming his way, he's denying it in that sense. It's bullshit. What are the things that you don't want to talk about? What are the things that you don't want to tell us about in this circumstance, Andrew? We can pretty much figure that out. Nanya Business is skeptical. Munch and Jay had a moment together on a live stream. Jay. Am I having a brain fart? Who's Jay? Munch and Jay had a moment together on a live stream. I asked him a question and he answered me. I'll never forget it. Who the fuck is Jay? You don't believe their story either, Pam? Munch, Tammy, if you're out there listening, Slim wants to hear from Munch about how Pandrew got drunk and watched snuff films. Yeah, you remember when he used to change from Andrew? He used to come across like he was right into, like he was a member of some sort of weird death cult. That's what Andrew is like. It's very bizarre. Or that's what he was pretending to be like, I should say. They may have been evicted from their place. If they're evicted, there'd probably be a record of it. Five adults, 7 kids, all the fucking cats. Could you imagine traveling with cats? That's got to be horrible. That's got to be horrible. Cats hate traveling. Meow. What's going on, Rosie? I'm sweeping. Oh, really? I try to be open. I want to give the guy the benefit of the doubt, but he's still there's still something about it that keeps me up at night. Like when you're thinking to yourself about things, I don't understand how it is that he can lie about so many things that are so, it would seem, pointless at the time. Let me see here. Let me see. I guess what all of the deception, alludes to, in my opinion, is some sort of relationship with the trafficking of drugs that would naturally involve people from other places. Munch said that they had 27 cats in that house when he stayed there. I bet it smelled awful. When we first got to know Andrew, there was a big hoopla about how many cats he had in his house. That was people were offended and called in the animal protection to come in and make sure that he was taking care of them all. And they came in and they made him get rid of a whole bunch. I'm not sure the details, but other people do. Remind me again in chat if you can remember. How do you not know the address to where you're moving across country? And Pandrew's old lady said that they were moving because all the pedos up in New York and wanted to be involved in Hunter's life. That was short-lived. So all these years later, where are you with that? You wanted to be involved in Hunter's life? That's such fucking bullshit, Elisa. Well, why didn't you encourage Andrew to pay the $25 a month that he skipped out on? Paying Allison every month for all of those years. Remember how many months we sat in that chat giving him shit about not paying his child support, and how he was bragging about how he was going to be paying this much this month for all of his arrears in that sense? Yeah, it still applies. I don't believe one fucking word. And that means that you're now conspiring. Alicia and Andrew are conspiring to brainwash the masses into thinking something that's completely another direction of what they first claimed when they came to the internet in that sense. Now, it shouldn't surprise you. This isn't an amended story. This is a story that shouldn't be amended. These are things that they don't want to answer, and they don't plan on answering. So it makes it even more worthwhile to talk about that than ever, because they don't want to talk about it. And it's going to piss them off. That's probably why I would think the old lady gets so pissed off when you bring it up. Wouldn't you? Not because she's frustrated over the fact that not because she's frustrated over the fact that she's annoyed over the amount of conversation she's had in the past about it. Like as if there was a clear answer. She's pretending as if there was no reason to have an answer in the first place. She doesn't even acknowledge why people would think it was suspicious. That's suspicious. Jolly Life, in my opinion, they were going to buy the Wells house, and Can had to back out after she took their money. So they got Summer. Whoa, man, they're throwing that on the table. That's an opinion, Jolly Life. You have a right to it. Still don't know who this Tyler Hicks is. Lockdown. Is he another dude who's missing? So Alicia says that they wanted to go down there. They wanted to go down there because they wanted to be close to Hunter. Hard to believe. Hard to believe. You wanted to go down there. There was another reason too. Oh, because of all the sex offenders. Well, what's it going to fucking matter? Look at all the sex offenders that are in your immediate family. Like, one of your baby daddies just got done for CP. One of Andrew's baby's mamas is an RSO. Look at the RSOs that were in his family. Josh Pandrew's a proud RSO in that sense. You don't even need that title. He probably should be on it, but somehow he skirted it. And they want to tell you and hate on you that even the thought of it, even bringing up the thought of it, is just so offensive and so rhetorical to them. It's worth fabricating. That's what they're doing, is just fabricating, and they're sticking to a story because it's telling you what you want to hear, right? Because you can put yourself in any situation and really determine in the moment, as a way of omission, telling the person what they want to hear and deflecting that sort of suspicion off in the moment. And that's part of what they love to do online. They didn't bring their kitchen table back to New York. No room. I see. We would be able to answer these questions ourselves if we knew the real reason for their trip down there in the first place. It's almost like you're making it look like you had something to do. Well, you picked up and dropped off, and then came around and turned around and came back. Well, like that happens all the time. This is like a National Lampoon's COVID vacation. I don't believe that fucking story. It was Dawn and Candus's house. Candus listed it on Facebook when Dawn was in Utah. Yeah, but the house isn't in her name. It's in Dawn's. Isn't it? It came from Dawn's mom. Can't remember now. Oh, do you see? I can't believe it. Even in this Jack and Lily Sullivan case, these two kids, 4 and 6, missing from Nova Scotia. 1 second, please. Just hold on. Yeah. So it drives me nuts. Not nuts, I guess. It's frustrating to read and how they sneak things into we'll call it the corporate media about, these little things where they want to suppress information and how they portray things or how they want things to look in order to really essentially control the masses. So the point is this Jack and Lily Sullivan case, they're really emphasizing all of this disinformation and all of this. Well, how do you know what's disinformation, what's true and what's not when you haven't shared any information in the first place? That's called speculation. And they want to discourage people from the free exchange of ideas, speculating about the possibilities of what has happened and what could have happened, and talk about it in a public forum, digitally, online. They're going to great efforts to try to discourage that in all of these articles, and it's just enough to make you sick. Like, people make stupid videos and make dumb fucking claims about things in cases like this. They always have, always will. But there's another agenda, in my opinion. There's another agenda that pushes this. And it's just to slowly make you think that it's not okay to be questioning authority in situations like this, especially when it comes to child trafficking, when it comes to all of this stuff. Oh, we'll just leave it up to the authorities, the same people who fucking, it's a naturally corrupt system to begin with, and it's being abused and used. And now they condition you and brainwash you into loving that, or thinking that that's okay and that's what you should do, rather than sit here and discuss it and sit here and have open conversation about the possibilities and learn how to communicate with one another in ways that will fucking sort out. And that's my main problem with the Jack and Lily Sullivan case right now. April, it's also, let me see here. It's also said that Andrew knew the girl that went missing in Frog Hollow. And anytime it's mentioned, his demeanor changes. Well, Andrew probably has all kinds of different personalities. Many people do, especially people who have a history of well, we've seen his many different personalities. He should have liar tattooed on his forehead. Put that around his 300. You think he's lying about that 300? Who the fuck? I've never even heard of that. I'm so proud. 300. Why is that a significant number? Yeah. AB, seriously, Candus listed the house for sale when Dawn was in Utah. Pandrew went there with Jose and Jeffy, met Candus. I think you're probably onto something, Nanya. Can you produce that? Maybe I'm going to have to go back and pull open the old, because I still have all of the. So yeah, when this case first started, we were watching the Facebook posts, like the wall, and watching Dawn's and Candus's account. And Dawn's account was deleted. Remember early on, he was deleted over threatening Hunter, over, allegedly threatening Hunter in that sense, over Facebook. Yeah, so that actually makes a lot of sense. If that is true, then that's your answer. That's got to be your answer. That makes the most sense, because what other thing would they want to just avoid talking about? Because they genuinely probably don't want anything to do with this case, rumors, and they certainly don't trust themselves. If we knew that they came down with all that money to buy Candus's house that she listed on Facebook, and you were all on each other's Facebook prior to Summer going missing, I think these guys are onto something. Lockdown. Yes, Kelly Sue is Andrew and his wife's first victim. Who is that? Who's Kelly Sue? Well, just think about that, Andrew. If people found out that was true, then you would have a whole bunch of new questions to lie about, to bullshit people over. Why don't you come down here? Why don't you come down here and live in the dungeon? Why don't you? Isn't that bizarre? Could you imagine? Didn't Andrew tell us that that Alicia met Candus and she was creeped out by her right away? Why? What was creepy about Candus? What creeped you out about it? I don't believe that. I don't believe that anymore. I think that's just a line. Now you guys are synchronized, like synchronized liars. That's true. That's right, Mary. He doesn't work, so they can't get income based on shit, so he doesn't have to pay child support. That's true reckoning. Well, he not means he can't pay child support, doesn't mean he shouldn't. He bragged about $25 a month and has 5 kids. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, he's a gem. He's got 5 baby mamas. Top chat. I don't know what top chat is, Nanya. No, so no. I am not. Pandrew said Jeffy and the judge seal the court papers for them talking to the landlord to court for breaking the lease. I remember those days. All these false promises. Remember the days where he was almost moving? Almost moving. She had to call Munch in to help her come in and move. Well, I trust Munch so much. I'd certainly trust him around my girl. I know he's fucked in Munch's new girlfriend's bed. Tammy's bed. To run interference? You think so? He put wifey on YouTube to run interference, I think it's supposed to read. She always been in the background correcting him. Yeah, you're right on. You're right on with that because he's always getting his story straight from probably old lady in the background. When he's whispering, he's not talking to the kids. Oh yeah. Mama just straightened me out. Here's what really happened. Pam says, I believe she's the leader, AB. I think you're probably right. She's fairly dominant in that household. She's the ringleader in that sense. She's the boss. Andrew's just allowed to stay there because did she say she does have a child with him? Yeah, that's an interesting theory. It's a fairly accurate. Like, I mean, why wouldn't it be the fact that they wanted to buy 110 Ben Hill Road? I wonder how it fell through. Why did the deal fall through again? Oh, they don't know. Have no idea. Don't know. Just fell through. Don't know. That's their answers. The kid film on the Hill had been going on for years. The kid films on the Hill. The snuff film was the next thrill for all of them. So you're trying to insinuate that there's a snuff film involved in Summer's situation, and this is where Andrew and all of them come into, because Andrew has publicly acknowledged his history of observing them while under the influence, which could be at any point in time. Oh shit, I'm getting way too far behind. Hold on. Because Don couldn't get his dad to give him the house, so it fell through. I'm pretty sure that they already owned the house. Reckoning. Well, I could be wrong. I'd have to go back and look now. Well, COVID made things a little bit different. Kids didn't have to be in school, right, Sweet? Well, they had to in different ways. They could do it from a far distance. How do you know he shaves his entire body? Oh yeah, what he like his head and everything. Yeah, I get what you're saying. His entire body. He probably has a client. Well, yeah, what happened to Andrew taking the wifey's last name? She probably full pod the idea. It's too expensive. Yeah, because he's the babysitter, she doesn't have to do any of the parenting. I say Andrew's a fair to average father. We should beat him harder. Maybe he'll get a little better. Let me see. When Andrew's landlord needed money, count the hours till Panda shows up. I said 72 hours. I was wrong. 2 hours. Go with what you know. Panda beer. I'll go. I haven't seen the pandas in a while. Don's plan in Utah didn't work out. And he heard Candus was trying to sell 110. Got into a bind. That makes sense. That does make sense. If true.
Somehow Jose and Candus ended up getting together. And then I guess it was rumored that Grandis and Candus ended up actually over time fighting over this Jose. I guess he was just banging everybody. So I'm not sure. But it's just so weird that also, it's just so weird. And also, it was said that Jose could be placed at the Wells house on the day that Summer disappeared, which would have been June 15th, 2021. It's too many things don't make sense. And also, he is saying that Hunter is not in protective custody, which we have kind of come to the conclusion that he is. It's just too many weird things. I don't know. He can't explain it. But I don't know. A lot of the stuff's unexplainable. You know, nothing makes sense. And if it doesn't make sense, it's probably not true. So just so many lies surrounding it. But this dude is got a lot of issues, I tell you. Okay, so he said he is a convicted felon, which I know a lot of convicted felons. That means nothing. You know what I mean? But he has the charge at 17 or 18 for the burglary. He said he spent 4 months in county jail and ended up on felony probation because one time when he was drunk, see where I'm going, that he walked outside onto his porch and was having an argument with a neighbor across the street. And he said that he exposed himself to her, not realizing that there were 2 or 3 teenagers standing directly next to her.
So here's a situation where Andrew should have been on the sex offender registry list, guys. And Andrew admitted to it. So Andrew, you're like an exposer. You're a what do you call those guys that go a flasher? You're a flasher, dude. You wear a trench coat and rubber boots and run around and flash people. I totally forgot about that story. So I'll have to make sure Ghost knows that. That's something to go after him about because that would put you on a sex offender list. And here you are admitting to it, but minimizing it, saying that it's just because there's a couple people in proximity, but in reality, those were your real targets, probably. You know what I'm saying? And he really loves that. He loves, the more the better. That's disturbing. Let's hear that one more time.
Surrounding it, but this dude is got a lot of issues, I tell you. Okay, so he said he is a convicted felon, which I know a lot of convicted felons. That means nothing, you know what I mean? But he has the charge at 17 or 18 for the burglary. He said he spent 4 months in county jail and ended up on felony probation because one time when he was drunk, see where I'm going? that he walked outside onto his porch and was having an argument with a neighbor across the street. And he said that he exposed himself to her.
So you exposed yourself to her. That would make you a sex offender, boy. You exposed yourself to her and two of her teenage daughters. Who the hell does that? Who the fuck does that? All you got was probation? This was normal? This was a normal thing to do? You were drunk one time when you were drunk? You exposed yourself, but how did you then turn all of those people into clients? You became a lady of the night, a Pandrew of the night.
Not realizing that there were 2 or 3 teenagers standing directly next to her. So he was arrested for exposing himself when children were there.
Yep. You got charged with exposing yourself while children were there. Do you hear this, Ghost? God. Oh my God.
He just has a habit of inappropriate sexual things. It could stem from, being, a prostitute, or, maybe he has childhood issues. I'm not sure, but he's tied to too many creepy things.
Yeah. So my question that I have for Pandrew would be, what happened at the age of 13 and as a child that would lead you down a course to become promiscuous, not just with members of the opposite sex, but members of the same sex? So really, you're just an accident waiting to happen in that sense. You think this is something that's normal, or you have done great or went to great lengths to normalize this within your life, and that's really passed on to the relationships that you share. Every one of the people involved in this case are deviants. Yeah, dude. You putting on a dress and fucking people is weird. And bragging about it is even weirder. You need to acknowledge these things, but more so, you need to get in touch with the trauma that led you down this path, and you need to be talked about. So these are things that we're going to talk about in the future in regards to Pandrew. Like, what were these things that happened to you in your early childhood that influenced Pandrew into becoming a high-priced hooker? Yeah, and he's walking around claiming that he's untouchable. Andrew, do you ever think that you're really leaking a little bit too much there? Untouchable from what? People out there are trying to get at the truth to a matter, but more commonly, they're trying to expose usually a lie that you've told. And by lie, that could be a lie by omission, or it could be a straight up changing of any number of points of your story. See, now it's evolved into something you want to build on, this narrative that you've established over 3 years that people are calling you out on. I'm just trying to help him out. High priced. Lee's probably charging an exorbitant amount, but you can always barter. You can always, come to an agreement. April, you're saying the police are believing Summer being last seen on the 15th because of Hunter. They know Hunter was not telling the truth, but they didn't think he would lie about something so big. Well, kids lie all the time, but it's hard to really pin. Hunter might not have known anything that was going on, and he's certainly not going to want to admit to doing anything wrong in the limelight, in the spotlight like this. So he's probably going to be more apt to saying everything's normal and protecting his abusers in that way, in my opinion. His abusers, Hunter's abusers, are his father, his mother, and especially Candus Bly.
my opinion. So that's my opinion. And he's just very inappropriate. And so I don't know. I just wanted to go over that and say that I definitely believe that Andrew Hilts is in some way tied to either helping Summer disappear or, something like that. I believe he's 100% involved. I think Hunter's involved. I think literally, I feel like everybody they know is involved in some way, somehow. I wish you guys would tell me what you think about this. Do you even know who Andrew Hilts is?
Yeah. This gal's done a fabulous job. We're telling you what we think. And she's right on the money. We all think that, yeah, they all belong to some weird backwoods, hillbilly, death cult, sexual grooming gang. That's essentially what it is for the headline. Allegedly, Pandrew's dad is an RSO too. What's his name? I wonder. He'd be on a list somewhere. So let me get this straight. From the understanding that Andrew pumped into my head about his dad. So back when Andrew wanted to get these great big titties, he was having a really difficult time. He was having a very difficult time with his father accepting the fact. You're telling me that this same father is the one that abused him in the first place? Or was it a stepfather? We'll have to get the answers from Andrew someday. Oh, reckoning. I think we've come up with we've aggregated a few great points about Pandrew's, maybe need to be on a sex offender registry. Imagine Pandrew running around flashing people. Hey, everybody. Let me see.
What do you guys think? Do you get that vibe? I don't know. Do you think Hunter was involved? I just really think that Hunter and Candus had something weird going on. I'm also starting to think that maybe Hunter may have been inappropriate with Summer as well. I don't know, but it's a lot of weird stuff, man. It just doesn't sit right. So I just wanted to go over that. I wasn't really sure.
So she's got a point, although we don't have any information to confirm that, but where she's coming from, I believe, is the fact that if Candus is there facilitating the inappropriate relationship with a minor with such a big age gap, and she's really emphasizing that there's no limits with age and love is love type of thing, and she is with Hunter. We know that. Why wouldn't Hunter be putting that onto Summer in that case? Because really, what business does Hunter have hanging out with a 6-year-old, a 5-year-old girl in the first place and her mom? Drinking and smoking and getting busy and snuggling and cuddling and taking selfies and sending flirtatious teenage-like messages to one another over different social media platforms that can be easily traced and watched. There's an inappropriate relationship going on between the children of Allison and Andrew. But Andrew, how much does he know? Well, probably everything. Like, he's part of the greater circle of people that they all hang out with, birds of a feather in that sense. They're all fucking one another. They all think that they're so much more sexually evolved than you are. That's just nasty. So this is one of the things that Grok, the AI, based its
sure, but
opinions of Andrew over.
I don't know. I don't know if we're ever gonna find Summer. It's just, how do you disappear like that? How do you disappear like that? And another thing, CPS was said to be coming to the Wells house that day, the day she disappeared. I don't even know if she actually went missing that day. I don't know if she went missing prior, maybe, the night before or a day or two before. But with CPS coming to the house that day, they had no choice but to report her missing. CPS would be coming to do a home like a home visit that day. And if Summer's not there, how do you explain that? So of course they had to report to the police she was missing. That's my opinion. I really don't know, but let me know what you guys think in the comments section.
This video was all probably made before they even took the boys out of the home. That's how old this is. I think this is one of my favorite videos so far. I love this video. It motivated me a little bit. Lit the fire back up in my memory. Let me see. Candus is sick in the head, sweet tea. Do you know what? With everybody's theories and everything, it's easy just to dismiss it and talk about it in a nonchalant way, but look at how she has acted since her daughter went missing. She obviously knows what happened, and she's leading on a certain way as though she's got this information, much like Letitia Staunch did. Like she's got this information that she was going to release that was going to bring so much possibilities of finding Summer in the future. Get fucked. What the fuck is going on here? Remember when Ernie Shell stopped by and they had the interview outside Grandis's trailer? All these promises. You see here. This gal also, I believe, did that switch over? Made an apology to Pandrew. No, I gotta share it. Hold on. So along the grok, the list of videos and articles that Grok cited, that was one of the videos. And this is a second one. Called Andrew Hilts, An Apology for the Misunderstandings.
Is because his son, Hunter H, is said to have been in a pretty big situation. Maybe with Summer Wells the day she disappeared. He is going to be looked at, and anybody around him is going to be looked at. That is why I first spoke of you. It was not, I didn't draw your name out of a hat or have a vendetta against you in any way.
Do you remember when Andrew was first doing his tour around to everybody's live streams and doing interviews? And beyond that, he was getting aggro. Like he was preemptively going after, well, I shouldn't say that, not preemptively, but he was proactive in defending all kinds of different speculation. Like he was in attack mode in that sense. Why does it even matter to this guy in the first place? Shouldn't he be concerned a little bit about his own life? Especially if he doesn't have anything to do with it. Shouldn't he be more protective of Hunter and nurturing in that sense, instead of trying to defend his honor in a fake online space that isn't the right thing to do? The right thing to do in this situation, especially if you have nothing to do with it, is not get involved in the nonsense and drama and the speculation that happens alongside these cases. You don't need to. It's of no benefit. So why would you be involved? Oh, we've got a sex offender. We got a sex offender right here. Actually, this guy. Check it out. This is another dope diss track dropped by A Balance, March 21st, 2025. Enjoy.
Yo, 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 it's Rex Fredrickson in the house. Trigger finger itching, gat go rat-a-tat-tat. You feel me? Tommy by my side, we riding dirty. Fools better step back or get laid flat. Roll up, mask down. Teaching Bird talking loud, but he a featherweight clown. Chirping in the crowd, trying to check my name. RSO in the game, but I flipped the whole script. Now who looking lame? Mr. 3.
Fucking chomo. So let me see here.
I said that I was going to look into everybody that was said to be involved in Summerwell's disappearance or could have a tie to. Hunter was said to have been there. To what degree he was there, I don't know. I'm not putting shame or blame on anybody at all. You have your past, I have my past. I am no one to judge like that. All I am doing is putting out the facts of what you have already put out there. You know, if you don't want people to know about it, don't put it out there. I mean, simple as that. I don't know what else to say, but it's not me spreading rumors or lies. This is literally just restating the things that you have said, other people have said. It is not a personal attack against you. So I'm very truly sorry. If in any way you feel like I was personally attacking you, that was not my MO. It's not. My MO is to find Summer. It is to, and now I just want to say.
So Andrew had this habit of attacking people over video. And then when it came down to it, like facing them on panel or talking it out person to person, PvP, he would all of a sudden spin it and then start flirting with the person and ask him out, ask him to do some more, I'd say private things like phone boning and such.
Also, so I do apologize in any way. I'm not trying to make enemies in any way. I'm literally trying to find Summer or maybe somebody that's attached to her. That's it. You know what I mean? So that's that with that. But also, I think that after doing the investigation I was doing, you in my mind, I've pretty much cleared you out for a couple of reasons. Do I think that you have ties to some shady characters? Yes, we all do. But those shady characters you're tied to happen to be tied to other shady characters that could be tied to Summer's disappearance. So that's all I'm saying. It's going to be looked at extra, you know what I'm saying, under the microscope. And so you have to understand where I'm coming from on that. It's never personal. And, I'm not trying to, bring up anybody's past. Like I said, I'm the last one to judge. So, but that is that. And so
it's okay to judge
now that I've looked into you, like I said, I've cleared you. Ernie Shell, on the other hand, now he is my prime suspect. And, I apologize if you feel like your character was being assassinated. I know what that's like. You know what I mean? For people to, just.
This poor gal, she was so bang on right. See, she felt bad about it afterwards. Andrew was probably giving her a hard time. So lockdown, what's with Lips? What is with Lips and Andrew? Like, what is this relationship? She was very bizarre. She's acting funny. Is she okay in the head? It's very unhealthy in this situation, I think. Andrew listens to Lips and some poor family doing everyday things that don't know anything about this, and Andrew hurts them. What does Lips have to do with a random family? Oh, you mean Lips? Does Lips live alone or not? What makes Lips trashy? Why is she trashy in that sense? Let me know. Do you think Lips and Andrew have secrets that are not legal? Yeah, they have a very bizarre. Both of them talk about sex in an inappropriate way, some may argue. Lips is a panda? What does that mean? They want to make the next Springer show? Well, I don't know. Hold on. So hold on. Summer Wells, an apology. We've seen this one. H and Candus. Okay, it's not that one. So here she's got another one called Back on My Radar that Grok pointed out. Grok has directed us to in this sense. Hold on. Is that on your screen? Let me see. It's probably a different one. Yes. Hold on. I'm so sorry, Pandrew. Well, Pandrew's back on the radar now.
Hello, hello. Hilts, I know stuff that these people have put out. It's actually them talking in the videos. I'm literally taking down the words and reading it to you. It's their words. You know, when I'm reading that part, when I'm saying like this is really what they said, it's really what they said. So you guys don't come for me when I'm reading it, because a lot of it is crazy, but it's like, don't shoot the messenger. And then if it's my opinion, I'll tell you it's my opinion, or in my opinion. You know, it's so much craziness going on. And, you know, I just find it really sad, I would say, that you know, in my comments and stuff like that, I've seen people say I had to unsubscribe because you know, you like Benny or you like this person. And I just find that so ridiculous, because it's like saying I can't be friends with Sally because she likes the color purple. And so who cares? Like, look how many other colors there are to love together. You know what I mean? It's like always about dividing and hate, and that it's just so, I'm so over that. So if you have to unsubscribe, that's fine. Please do so. But you know, I would love to respectfully agree to disagree and leave it at that, because we could bounce so many great ideas off each other back and forth. And it's about finding Summer and all these other missing people and getting their justice and answers. And it's not about hate. It's about coming together. And sadly, that doesn't happen here in YouTube too much. It's more about the you know, the drama and the money, whoever can get the most money or whatever. So much for they keep bringing these videos, because wait, hold on, I'm sorry, this yesterday. And so 1 hour and 8 minutes into his live yesterday, he was on with his brother Iricon, who has a channel, and a lady named Pam Tate. I don't know who these people are, but I just know Andrew from doing the video, you know what I mean? So anyway, Pam Tate asks Andrew a question, and she says, when Hunter got dropped off, what did Summer have on? And he looked at her and he was like, I don't know. And she was like, I didn't believe him. And it was how he answered it. It was very hesitant. And she didn't believe him either. So after he said that, she goes,
Oh, that's interesting. Andrew.
or did they change her after, or did they change her when she got home? And he goes, oh, I don't know that. Now, the difference between the I don't knows, it was the enthusiasm in it. And when you are lying like that, it was more the I don't know is like a rhetorical question, you know, like, I don't know. Like, you're hoping that this person here believes you, but I don't believe shit. You're saying you do know. He knew the answer to the first one, but he did not. I really don't genuinely think he knew the answer to the second one, because he said, you know, oh, I don't know that. It was just weird. And so I just want you guys to go check that out. And please tell me what you think about that, if you see what I mean, in the difference between the I don't knows. He also made a couple other weird comments, like
it still sticks out in my head is this story about Summer allegedly being dropped off, and the girls were afraid that she had gotten into drugs and she was high on methamphetamine, and she stayed over at Grandis's and Alice, or Grand Buns and Allison Sherry's house. And this is, I think True was repeating that story. Why would True make that story up and tell a CPS worker that. And it just makes you think that, well, it must be a bit of, just must be an open thing. It's not like something the parents do on the weekends. Drugs must be, like hard drugs must be a normal part of life around there, which would indicate to me that there's a lot of grooming going on, and sex being the ends or their own carnal desires. The adults.
He said he knows that Hunter lied during his interview. And then he went into how Hunter can lie to everyone else, but he better not fucking lie to him. And those are his words. That's why I said it. So I would like to put out a trigger warning. I apologize if it's kind of late in the game. Trigger warning. Also, this is for educational and entertainment purposes only. And I only say that because it's a disclaimer. Okay, it's not funny. Nothing's funny about this. And you can just educate people on how not to do what these crazy ass people are doing. I don't know. Or educate what they are doing, nonetheless. So anyway, and this is all allegedly. So he also made, and then he said, as a dad, I have to do what it takes to get his ass out of trouble. See, I feel like these statements are like, they're like Freudian slips. You know what I mean? He doesn't even realize what he's saying. In my world, it means something. I don't know if anybody else sees this, but I don't know. It really just is like, okay now. So
Yeah, I get it. What she's trying to say, I can agree with. Like, it's Andrew's MO to get up here and pose, LARP like he's a great dad, or at least gain some sort of acceptance and affirmation that he's a normal father, just doing normal fatherly things back there now.
I was just trying to see, but there was one more thing I wanted to put. This isn't going to be a long video. I really want you guys to go check it out. Tell me what you think about that. I'm not hating on anybody. I'm just seeing if anybody else finds this weird, and they're joking around like very inappropriately, him and his brother. And I don't know, the lady, Pam, that was on too, she laughed once in a while, but she wasn't like, dying of laughter. Andrew also said that he doesn't feel sorry for Hunter. He can hold his own. And the woman, Pam, said, well, I feel sorry for him. He's a teenager. He's going through a lot. And whatever, he didn't. So, and then, here we go. So Pam says to, what's his name?
My question for the
Andrew, sorry. She made an analogy and she goes,
my question for the my YouTube audience here is, what do you think the possibilities are over the reasoning that Dawn and Candus were active early on in intimidating Hunter and his family publicly and in private, showing up to his house the day after, or at least Hunter being a priority in order for Candus to reinforce how important it is not to tell somebody too much information? That's highly suspicious. That tells the world that you don't want people to know the realities. It could be multiple reasons too, like the realities behind the nature of the relationship between Candus and Hunter. Because as soon as you start delving into that, a whole can of worms is going to open up, and a true criminal portion of there's going to be something that opens up there that you're not going to be able to just turn a blind eye towards.
Easter Bunny had eggs. Where did he get them from? And Andrew's like, I don't know. Where did he get them from? she said the chicken, he got them from the chicken down, whatever, down the way. He abducted them. And then Andrew says, yeah, he abducted them and made like a weird, like sex trafficking the eggs. That's what they were insinuating, that, that the eggs were stolen and that someone's handing them out, right? But it's basically like trafficking, handing them out. And I was like, well, that's weird. So, then just started making these real weird, like, jokes about, like, why did the chicken cross the road now? But still in that analogy story, though, still kept that going the whole time. And it was just, I thought it was inappropriate. I don't think it's funny. Sex trafficking is not funny. Human trafficking is never funny. And a little girl that I really, really care about, and so many other people do too, there's a possibility that could be happening to her, and it's happening to millions of people all over it. Nothing funny about that shit at all. I didn't laugh. It was like, ugh. You know what I mean? That's why I wanted to bring attention to it, because you guys check it out and tell me what you think in the comments below. Tell me if you thought it was super inappropriate. And now I'm like, okay, what the, you know what I mean? So no, not feeling that vibe. But
so doesn't that kind of answer itself though? Partially because he had to, Sweet Sativa. In order to perhaps deflect away from other things. So to some people, it may just be for clout and some AdSense money, but that's not a good enough answer in my mind. There has to be another reason that he's so aggressive in wanting to really, like when you say insert, you really mean insert. And I don't disagree with you, because he's actively going out after other people about their opinions in something that he shouldn't have any fucking idea about to begin with. And in order to protect your son, you don't want him involved in any of that. You don't want him involved. So if you have to make a statement, you make a statement. But how Andrew is dealing with it is the exact opposite way that a mature adult or a caring parent would be protecting their child in a situation like this. So it tells me that there's perhaps more reason to have to get involved to, we'll say, quote unquote, I don't like the term, but you know where I'm going with that, sarcasm. He's got to set the record straight and stand up for his son's honor when he's never given a shit any other time. And the more that you get to know about him, the more questions arise. So I'm still interested about what it was, at 13 that really set things off for Andrew. What inspired him, we'll say, to become a high-priced prostitute for both men and women. I'm interested in that story. And until Andrew can really get in touch with that story and become transparent with it, how could he ever be recovered as an individual? If he can't openly talk about his history and his past in a way that's sobering and humble with lessons learned, no, he uses it as though it adds some sort of credibility to the things that he says he is, his street cred. It's very bizarre things to brag about, in my opinion. I think you're probably on the right track, reckoning. So it was the third day is when he got involved. So 15, 16, 17, 18th, the 18th. He did it when he heard about the reward. He then tried to have Hunter abducted because he thought he knew something to get him that reward money, in your opinion. That's probably right up there. That would be the number one answer on the, what is that? Survey says. What is that fucking game show? I forget. Family Feud. Excuse me. Ruining my own jokes. I think you're on the right track reckoning for sure. So I'm curious now to come to learn why you, April, think Andrew, like, have this snuff film in your mind about Andrew and this whole situation and his involvement. That's really going out there, but I'm willing to listen to it. He said his dad was, let me know in the comments if you can, or send me a link. He said his dad was the reason he wouldn't change or bathe his children without their mother's present. That's just bizarre. He's got a phobia now. He needs his rubber duckies. The wrong place to come and get it. Oh shit. Anyway, it's getting a couple hours now, friends. Thank you very much for joining. I appreciate you guys sticking it out. Hopefully now that we'll have a few new questions to ask Andrew in his live chat over there. Make sure you go over and visit him and ask him about this. But what's really I can't wait till the next time somebody gets up on that panel and asks Andrew about that trip with Alicia there. She's going to fucking lose her shit. She's going to fucking snap. Hopefully she takes it all out on Andrew. Live. Oh, that would be funny. Only in an entertaining way. Anyway, Quillfish, you get to feeling better, friend. Let me see. When did Pandrew's mother and stepdad move in together or get married? That could lead to answers. Well, Andrew, if you're out there, go live and talk all about your situation. We're willing to hear a few more bullshit lies that we can question you over. I'm kidding you. Anyway, guys, thank you for this episode. I'll see you guys in the next one.